Picture this: a freezing night, 5.0 million years ago, and a mother watches her shivering child slowly dying from the cold. With no natural fur to protect them, early humans were the most vulnerable creatures on the savannah. But that night, desperation sparked an innovation that would change our species forever: the creation of the very first clothing. Unlike every other creature roaming the African savannah, early humans possessed no natural protection against the elements. While lions had thick manes, elephants had tough hides, and even the smallest mammals had fur coats, humans stood naked and defenseless against nature's harsh realities. Zara's family represented this vulnerability perfectly. As the sun disappeared and temperatures plummeted, their exposed skin offered no defense against the biting wind. Their thin, hairless bodies lost heat rapidly, making them easy prey not just for predators but for the deadly cold itself. The temperature had dropped faster than usual that evening, catching Zara's family unprepared as they huddled around their small fire. The flames provided warmth only within arm's reach, leaving most of their bodies exposed to the increasingly frigid African night air. Zara's youngest child, barely 3 years old, had begun showing the dangerous signs of severe cold exposure. His lips were turning blue, his small body trembling uncontrollably, and his breathing was becoming shallow and labored. Without intervention, he would not survive until dawn. Earlier that day, the family had successfully defended themselves against a leopard attack, leaving them with an unexpected prize: the predator's intact hide. The bloody skin lay discarded near their campsite, considered nothing more than waste from their survival encounter. No human had ever considered animal skins as anything other than the inedible remainder of a meal. The concept of using another creature's natural protection for their own benefit had simply never occurred to anyone. The hide represented meat that couldn't be eaten, nothing more. As Zara watched her child's condition worsen, maternal instinct overwhelmed rational thought. She had tried everything, moving closer to the fire, wrapping him in her arms, even breathing on his tiny fingers to warm them. Nothing was working, and time was running out. Her eyes fell upon the discarded leopard skin, and a desperate idea began forming in her mind. If the leopard had stayed warm with this covering, perhaps it could provide the same protection for her dying child. It was an unprecedented thought, but desperation breeds innovation. With trembling hands, Zara lifted the heavy, blood-stained leopard hide. It was still warm from the animal's recent death, and surprisingly soft beneath the coarse outer fur. She had never handled animal skin for any purpose other than removing it from meat. Carefully, she wrapped the hide around her shivering child, fur side against his cold skin. The transformation was immediate and remarkable. His violent shivering began to subside, his breathing deepened, and color slowly returned to his blue lips. The first clothing had been born from a mother's love. Within minutes of being wrapped in the animal hide, Zara's child showed dramatic improvement. His body temperature began returning to normal, his trembling ceased, and he fell into a peaceful, warming sleep. The natural insulation that had protected the leopard was now protecting a human child. The other family members watched in amazement as this simple act of wrapping transformed their dying member into a comfortably sleeping child. None of them fully understood what they were witnessing, but they recognized they had just observed something revolutionary and life-saving. As the night wore on and the wrapped child continued to sleep warmly, the family began to grasp the profound implications of Zara's desperate innovation. Animal skins could transfer the natural protection of other species to vulnerable humans, creating artificial fur for their furless bodies. They examined the hide more carefully, noting how the dense fur trapped warm air close to the skin, creating an insulating barrier against cold wind and dropping temperatures. This natural protection system could be borrowed, adapted, and used by humans who lacked their own biological defenses. The next morning, with their child healthy and warm, the family began experimenting with other animal hides they had previously discarded. Each type of fur offered different benefits: thick winter coats from larger mammals, lightweight protection from smaller creatures, and waterproof hides from certain species. They discovered that different animals had evolved specialized coverings for specific environmental challenges. By combining these various natural protections, humans could create artificial defenses superior to any single species' natural covering. Innovation was building upon nature's millions of years of development. Through trial and error, Zara's family learned which animal skins worked best for different situations. Thick, bare hides provided maximum warmth during the coldest nights, while lighter deer skins offered comfortable protection during mild weather without causing overheating. They also discovered that fresh hides worked better than old ones, and that certain preparation methods helped preserve the skins for longer use. Scraping away excess flesh and fat prevented rotting, while exposure to smoke from their fires helped preserve the material and reduce unpleasant odors. Simply wrapping loose hides around their bodies proved impractical for daily activities like hunting and gathering. The family needed ways to secure the animal skins that would allow freedom of movement while maintaining protective coverage throughout active days. They began experimenting with natural fasteners, twisted plant fibers, thin leather strips cut from hide edges, and even thorns from acacia trees. These primitive closures allowed them to create the first fitted garments that stayed in place during vigorous activities while providing consistent protection. As seasons changed, the family learned to adapt their clothing choices to match environmental conditions. Heavy, thick-furred hides were essential during cold periods, while lighter, more breathable materials worked better during hot seasons, when overheating posed a greater threat than cold. They developed a rotating wardrobe system, storing heavy winter coverings during warm months and preparing lighter garments for hot weather. This seasonal adaptation allowed them to maintain optimal body temperature year-round, giving them a significant survival advantage over other human groups. Zara made sure her children understood not just how to use animal skins for protection, but how to prepare and maintain them properly. She taught them to identify the best hides, proper cleaning techniques, and effective preservation methods that would extend the life of their clothing. The children learned quickly, soon developing their own improvements and innovations. They discovered that certain plant dyes could color the hides, that bone needles could create more precise connections, and that layering different materials provided superior protection in extreme weather conditions. The introduction of clothing began changing social dynamics within the family group. Those who wore the finest or most effective coverings gained status and respect. Skilled hide preparation became a valuable ability that increased an individual's worth to the community's survival. Clothing also enabled new social expressions that had never existed before. Different styles, colors, and decorative elements allowed individuals to express personality and creativity while serving practical protection purposes. Fashion was being born alongside function in humanity's first textile revolution. Word of this incredible innovation spread quickly to neighboring human groups. Other families, seeing the survival advantages provided by artificial coverings, began adopting and adapting the technique for their own needs. The concept of clothing was revolutionizing human survival across the continent. Each group added their own improvements and variations, creating diverse clothing traditions that reflected local resources and climate conditions. The basic principle remained the same: borrowing nature's protection systems to compensate for human vulnerability, but applications became increasingly sophisticated and specialized. From that desperate moment when Zara wrapped her dying child in leopard hide came every piece of clothing that has ever protected a human being. That first act of maternal innovation didn't just save one child, it launched a revolution that allowed humans to survive in every climate on Earth. Today, when you put on a jacket against the cold or slip into comfortable clothes, you're participating in a 5.2 million-year tradition that began with a mother's love and a leopard skin. Clothing didn't just cover our bodies, it uncovered our potential to adapt, survive, and eventually thrive in any environment nature could challenge us with.